Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather next week. Today it looks like it's going to be turning colder and we may even get some wintry weather coming along to the northern parts of the country in particular as we get through to next week. Now before I go on, I just want to mention the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my weather videos at gavsweathervids.com. Please play us in. You'll be supporting gavsweathervids.com by doing that. So we'll start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly charts. We've got the ECMWF here on the left. The GFS is on the right. 500 millibars at 18,000 feet is an important area in the atmosphere because that's where we've got high pressure and low pressure developing. It's really as though it's high pressure and low pressure areas that move around by the jet stream running above that we get weather. So the blue colours here indicating below average heights, that's below average temperature at 18,000 feet. That extrapolates to low pressure. The red colours indicating above average heights at 18,000 feet, and that extrapolates to high pressure. So we see what the ECMWF is predicting as an anomaly for 8 to 10 days time is a big area of below average heights here around the west of Europe, the British Isles, going down into central and western parts of the continent as well into the Mediterranean, with a big blocking feature in the western Atlantic going up towards Greenland and sitting around Canada. So this is feeding down cold air into this trough, and this is quite a cold trough of low pressure sitting across the country. Indeed, if we have a look at the GFS, it's very similar. The above average heights again, more centred towards Greenland here rather than Canada, so a little bit closer. Consequently, we'd be bringing even colder air down into the country, and the trough is actually shoved further eastwards with this. So everything is a bit further east really with this. The block is further east over Greenland, and the trough is further east, sitting more or less over Scandinavia, going down in central parts of Europe, and we're in a cold run of northerly winds with an extension of this ridge of high pressure coming down across the country. But both anomalies really painting a picture of quite a cool period coming up next week. If we have a look at the GFS ensembles, we can see that at the moment we're actually quite mild. We're above average. The red line, remember, is the seasonal average for the time of the year. We're above that red line, well above actually, for quite a few days coming up. It's going to be quite a spring-like sort of week, although it will turn increasingly unsettled. These are the precipitation spikes down here on the bottom of the graph. We see we've got quite a bit of precipitation coming up from around the 6th and the 7th of March through to around the 10th of the 11th. Quite a lot of precipitation being forecast there, even though temperatures will actually be quite mild. Then we get to around the 11th of March and we get these temperature anomalies, these temperature ensembles I should say, members of the ensemble starting to dip away, and it turns quite cold then as we go through in towards the middle of the month, goes below average. Many of the members of the ensemble go below the red line, so going colder than average in the middle part of the month, if the model has got the pattern right. So this is the GFS chart for Sunday, the 10th of March. We've got low pressure here, more or less over the top of the country. I think it will be quite an unsettled weekend with a fair amount of rain coming up. It won't be particularly mild under the rain either. As we go beyond this, we find that low pressure then starting to move away to the east of the country. There's the extension from the high pressure starting to come down from the north. We've got the cold air sitting there over Scandinavia. And as we move out towards Tuesday the 12th of March, which is getting on towards 10 days away, we do find that high pressure extending down from the Arctic. Cold, mainly dry weather really, but cold with hard frost, and there'll be wintry showers around northern and eastern parts of the country. As we go beyond that, actually we keep it cold. Quite a big blocking feature gets going there over Greenland, and winds are going into the northeast as well as this low pressure tries to come in off the Atlantic. That could come into that cold air and produce some snow almost anyway. We've got very cold air sitting there over Scandinavia and much of Central Europe as well, so that's really quite a cold run indeed from the GFS. If we have a look at the ECMWF, there's below pressure for the weekend. It will be an unsettled weekend, I think, with showers and longer spells of rain. Now this is a little bit different because we don't push that low pressure through as we do on the GFS. So once we get through to Tuesday the 12th of March, that low pressure is still sitting there over the top of England and Wales actually. We are bringing cold air into Scotland, but it's not particularly cold across England and Wales. That low pressure's got fair amount of Atlantic air associated with it. And it's just holding up the cold air coming in from Scandinavia. As we go out beyond that, we actually develop another little area of low pressure here to the south of Iceland, and again that just stops the cold air coming in from the east. I've got a good blocking feature there over Greenland, stretching out towards Canada. So we've got the block in place, but we just don't push these low pressures through quite enough to allow that really cold air to start to come in from the east and the northeast. But nevertheless, it's a cool and unsettled sort of pattern. And finally, the GEM, that's the low pressure there over the top of the country as we go into Sunday, bringing in this cold east to northeasterly wind there for Scotland. Moving out beyond that, the low pressure then pushes through. This is very similar to the GFS actually, and we build that extension of the high pressure over Greenland down across the country going out to the start of next week. So winds going to the north, it'll turn very cold, or certainly cold for the time of year, and there'll be hard overnight frost, wintry showers in northern and eastern parts of the country as well. And then the high pressure really sits over the top of the country through next week, keeping it mainly dry and settled, but cold with those hard overnight frosts. So it does look as though we're going to be in for a cold week next week. I think it will turn colder. How cold it gets, still open to question. The ECMWF doesn't want to push the low pressure through as quickly and introduce that very coldness of the air from Scandinavia. But nevertheless, temperatures will take a tumble from the spring-like conditions that we're going to have through certainly the start of this week, today and tomorrow, and into Wednesday in the east as well. But it is going to be turning colder. Next week there'll be the chance of some wintry weather, certainly hard overnight frost, and maybe some wintry weather as well. So it's one to keep an eye on. I'll be keeping you updated about it. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.